Hello.
Can you hear me, Akash?
Check, check, check.
Hello, Akash.
Meanwhile,
क्या आकाश यार आर्या शिट मैन गधा आकाश हॉटस्पॉट दो
a few moments later.
हेलो क्या चेक कैन यू हियर मी
Yeah, absolutely.
ओके डोकी सो लेट्स बिगिन So namaste everyone, Mo Sabhari Akash Tiwari and with me I have Mr. Karan Khemka.
So, hi, Akash. Hi, everyone. I'm very glad to join this podcast. You know, a lot of people will be viewing this. So, I want to share my experiences, my life story, and probably motivate, influence others. So, just to give you a backdrop, I am the India country manager for a brand called Molecule, which is a US based firm. Our mission is to provide clean air to people. For my introduction piece, I have worked with the companies like GoPro. I have been a national sales manager for them for the last 3 years and recently joined Molecule. Before that, I was into distribution space, managing international brands for India like Google, Logitech, Belkin, Bose. My experience in consumer electronics and the distribution and brand management has been extensive. I have been working since 2009. I am a pass out of Narsi Monji College in Bombay.
SVKM.
Yeah, SVKM. So yeah, all the Mumbaiites and the Juhuites. So yeah, it was a really good ride for me. So I started working at 22, and that's how early I started.
Damn. Like I was always jealous of SVKM, like NMIMS. Being a Mithivite, I was always jealous of NMIMS. Their new building, their new canteen. Like I think so. During your time, the building was there, the new building.
No, so the when we passed out, they demolished the building because there were so many sins that everyone committed that they have to demolish it, and then the new building started. So no, not our time, but later.
Yeah, man, I was too jealous for that building. Like, damn, like there was some completely special treatment for them. Yeah. So yeah, like Karan, your journey. You said you started working from 22 years, right? And now you are a country head. Okay. What I want to ask you is like what it actually takes to become a country head. Like there's a time span which you have to work for, and then a lot of people they get to the position till vice president or maybe like the manager or stuff. But then obviously from five people only one person would be the CEO or would be the country head of a specific firm. Like what do you think helped you become there? Like one, and also the national manager for GoPro, right? There would be 10 people, you would be one of them who became that, not the other 9 people who would get there. So what are the things that help you get there?
So there are three fundamentals that I believe in and which helped me. I'm just sharing my personal experience. Is firstly, you should have patience. Because a lot of students, what they do, they pass out of good MBA colleges and they expect, having 6-7 figure salaries, which is quite hard sometimes because as you mentioned that, only few people get it, but not the entire lot. So you should have actually patience. Hard work is definitely required because I think without that, even the luck won't factor. And the third is obviously if you work really hard, then definitely luck will help you on that. My experience when I joined and when I passed out from my MBA, it was 2009 when Lehman and Goldman Sachs crashed. And that was the recession in the world. I had 3 PPOs, I had 3 offers which were declined because of the recession, and I was left with no job. So I tried searching, I tried everything, and then I got this job into Rashi Peripherals. Now, very interesting fact that I wanted to share, I had another offer along with that. Okay, there the salary was good, but the position was not good. And here the position was good, the work was really good. I mean, something constructive that was doing for my career, but the salary was peanuts. But then I decided that if I want to make my career long term, then I should not look at money. Because if you work really good, if you work in the right direction, the money will follow you. And that happened with me. So whatever loss I had in the initial years of my career, I have actually recovered it. So that is what one message that I've learned on my experience, which I've shared with my cousins and brothers and friends, whoever come to me. I also do various, guest lectures at various MBA colleges at pro bono. I don't charge them. I just want to interact with students and help them to understand because there are a lot of notions are there in students' mind. They're okay, we should do this, we should do that. Life is not that serious. So you should, relax a little.
Okay, coming to the serious part, okay, so this is just my observation, correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen the CEO or the country head career span just for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years max. Suppose if you're a country head for some brand or some firm, right, or a CEO, After 4 or 5 years, you usually leave that company or you leave that post. Is it because it is very stressful, or is it actually right that people do have a very less span on that level of superiority? Because you can work for 10 years, but then at a CEO post, you'll just be there for 2 years.
No, it's not that. Actually, it depends on what you want to do in your life. Okay, there are various people that they want to experience different things. So that is why they stay for 2 to 5 years and they move on, because they want to learn new things. They want to experience different verticals. They want to work in different companies and gain that kind of an experience. So that happens. Otherwise, there are people who, like, if you see in banks and other consumer electronic multinationals, there are CEOs or MDs or chairmen. They are working for about 10, 15, 20 years, and they are like pillars in that company. So it totally depends on individual perspective. Also the company's vision, what they see that individual's goal, right? So that's also very, very important. It's mutual. So I mean, for me, if you ask me, I also want to experience different verticals of life. So when I was at GoPro, I set up this action camera space in India, which was like nascent when I joined. And then we grew leaps and bounds, and now the entire industry or entire camera market is now upside down. They are now, every Indian is talking about probably owning or aspiring a action camera. Previously they were thinking that, okay, I don't do bungee jumping in India, I don't do skydiving, why should I buy an action camera? So the perspective has changed.
Like, what is your process like? Because obviously there's GoPro, it's national sales manager, right? Now in Molecule, it's a country head, like you manage all the operations together, right? So when you take a leap from one position to another, okay, take me through that process, like what you do next. Like, is it like you just first take a break, then you start learning about some different operations which you don't have any idea? Like, how do you switch from that one end to another position, and like what is this, like how do you take that path?
So see, my process is very simple. When I left GoPro and when I decided to join Molecule, I took a couple of months break because I am a new father. I have a COVID baby which was born in December 2019. So I wanted to spend more time with him. So that was a break for me. And what I did, I processed this industry of air purification in India. I tried to learn about that because when I join, I should be ready, right? So I tried to gain some knowledge, talk to industry people that how this industry functions, what are the products, how do you pitch in market, what are the strategies which various brands adopt, and then learn few things. Because when I join, it should not be that, they have to train me for 6 months and then I should, work. So wanted to save time, but it's a very simple process. It depends on individual. There are people who just hop into a different job and they have no clue that where they have, joined. So I think people should take some time off, understand, it's like cleansing. Yeah, your old job, your old skills, you should cleanse and adopt new skills and new strategies or that industry experience, and then join in. So it's a very simple process that I follow.
So you worked for Rashi Peripherals. You said that, you had the job profile was good. Okay, even though the salary didn't matter. Then you went to GoPro. Then you went to Molecule. Okay, it was your decision to leave. It was your decision to go. What are the factors that tell you that, okay, now I need to leave from here, I'm done here, okay, my time here is there, there's something new, exciting stuff I need to try? Like, what are those, factors or hints that tell you, okay, now you need to switch or you need to leave? Because GoPro is completely camera, Molecule is air purifier. The industries are also completely different, not related to each other.
As I mentioned, that every individual aspires to learn something new and growth factor. So my time with Rashi Peripherals was amazing because I've managed 7 brands over there. There was a team of about 150-200 people that I used to manage directly. Okay, and the brands that I was managing was amazing. I mean, vastly different. Logitech, consumer electronics, work from home space, Belkin, mobile accessories, Google Chromecast. I was the person who actually launched Google Chromecast in India. Bose premium speakers. So all different verticals I was managing. And at the distribution level, I actually learned about how the business functions. Okay, my family background is I belong to a business family. And my father always used to tell me that if you do not study well, you will come back to the factory and you have to manage this. But if you want to do something on your own, educate yourself from a good institute and try yourself. If you fail, you don't have to worry because there is a business to support you. But then if you do really well, then you can actually change people's lives, right? And you can do something good for yourself. So I thought about it. I gave that thought to myself. And I mean, there are a lot of youngsters who don't understand this, but my first job at Rashi Peripherals, I stayed there for 8.5 years. So from a product trainee when I joined in 2009, I became a business manager in 2017. There were 4 promotions that I got in terms of designations. But then obviously you aspire, I was very young, right? And I always wanted to, I mean, this was my dream to become a country manager at the age of 50. This was my dream when I started that, okay, I want to be a country manager, probably then retire. And that's about it. I mean, this is my vision of life that was there in 2009. Now at the age of 34, I have become a country manager. Now I don't know what should I do. I mean, sometimes because you work really well or luck factors you aspire that little early. So that is why I mentioned, right? I mean, patience, hard work and luck. This all 3 matters a lot. And you have to be aware about all these things. Now there are obviously various opportunities in the market. You should be aware about it. You should know what is your interest. My interest is I set up brands in India. I make them available to the consumers in India, and that is what my specialty is. So that is why I work with international brands which they want local skill set in India and they want to establish their legs in India. And that is where I come in. So total different verticals, but then it's very challenging also, right? In life, if you do not challenge yourself, then you are stagnant. You don't grow. So obviously you have to challenge yourself.
Yeah, but dude, that, at the age of 34 being a country, and even it's like quite unique. Usually people at that age don't get to be at that post, right?
My mom was not believing that I've got this position. I mean, that designation, forget the salary, that designation was like a dream come true. When I got that on email, you are the country head, just to give you a backdrop, at GoPro also, the national sales head was as good as a country manager. I mean, the director of sales or whatever.
Yeah.
But exactly. Then having that particular wording in your visiting card or on your email ID was like satisfying for me.
Oh, damn. I was so intrigued when I was researching about your profile. Like, damn, at this age, at this stage, you have got these positions. That's the reason, like, directly I went into these questions, because I think so not only me, but anyone who meets you, like, would be asking you these questions at all the time. Like, how did you get there? इतना जल्दी कैसे पहुँच गए? इतना जल्दी कैसे पहुँच गए वहाँ पे? है ना? So
I mean, I am also surprised sometimes. I know a lot of people in the industry. When I walk into a meeting hall, where I walk into a gathering, and when all the country managers are there, and when they look at me, they're like, I mean, really?
Really? Yeah, man. But this is good. I think so, because like you are one of those people who are setting this example, and I'm seeing like a lot of people are taking that chance and making more younger people getting that post like that. I think so that would be great.
Yeah, I think the perception of the people probably at the industry level is also changing. Previously, they were all related to experience. If you have worked for 3 years, you will get this promotion. 5 years, you get this promotion. Now it's all about skill set and results. This is why we are trained, right? What do you do in MBA? What do you do in engineering? Right? You are trained to better yourself, to better the work. And if you do it and if you don't get rewarded, then what is the use of that?
So like tell me, like at that senior level where you are at, right, what is your daily process? Like you get up and what? There are thousands of things coming in at your way.
The biggest challenge or biggest problem what people perceive working in an MNC is that there are no timelines. Okay, my work is basically 24 hours. We have early morning calls as early as 5 o'clock in the morning, and our calls end at 11:30 also, because you work with US timings. It's a global company, so you connect with European people, Australian people, American people. So then there are various calls. And then in the daytime, when they all sleep, you have Indian work to do, right? So it never stops. It never stops. As a country head, there are a lot of challenges, because you have to, there is a certain level of expectation which a brand expects from you, that to be successful in a local market, for an example. So you have to take care of all the operational sides. You have to deliver sales. You have to see that the marketing messaging is right. What are the avenues of marketing? Are we targeting the right consumer? Processing that, working with different stakeholders like distributors, retailers, online marketplace players like Amazon, Flipkart, and also managing all these expectations along with the headquarters. Because see, you have to understand that we are Indians. I work in the local market, but you have to relay this messaging that what is needed in India to a foreign company, to people who don't understand India that well, or maybe they think about India in a different level. So you have to tell them that okay, global strategies working at local level is very different. Basically, I become a bridge between them, right? The expectations and the reality, and I have to bridge them. That okay, this has been asked, this is what we have. How do we come to a conclusion? So it's a very challenging thing. It's not an easy task that you become probably a country manager or national head on any brand and then it's a cakewalk. Life gets difficult, mind you.
Oh damn, yeah, I think so. That's a pretty scenario which we have in our mind, but it is not like that. Like, you know, it's sitting on a chair and relaxing.
You see people doing podcasts, you see people doing interviews, but it is not an easy life. This is a Saturday that we are doing this interview, so this is how it is. I mean, you have to find time.
Yeah, I can understand that. But like, because Molecule has a lot of Indian crowd, their founders are Indian and the researchers are Indian. So you're still struggling to get that connection with Molecule, because I thought they're Indian, so they might be having a better understanding of the market and is it right or not?
So I'll tell you, that's a very good part that, you know, Mr. Yogi Goswami and Mr. Dilip Goswami, Jaya Rao, they are all Indians. The founders are Indians. So they basically understand the Indian market. Now the challenge is not with them, the challenge is with Indians, because air purification, I mean, how many people have air purifiers at home apart from the Delhi NCR?
I was about to ask you, the next question was like how are you planning to do this? Air purification in India is like the concept is still very...
People think it's a luxury product, it's a lifestyle product. Air purifier, what does it do? I mean, I don't require it. My windows are open, so the pure air is coming in.
Fresh oxygen, fresh oxygen.
But people don't realize that indoor air is 5 times poorer or polluted than the outdoor air. Molecule has a very fundamental difference from any other air purifier. Firstly, they have a patent technology of PECO filters. And apart from killing all the viruses, bacteria, molds and all that stuff which is bad for us, it also kills COVID. It is proven by a research. And I mean, this is what people should understand. Okay, now apart from the Delhi NCR belt, when it gets really polluted right now, like the AQI touches 500, 600 in the winter season, you have places like Mumbai where I was just reading the Times of India article that a couple of days back, the air quality in Kolaba was poorer than Delhi. So pollution is knocking your doors. You should understand that, you know, air is not that great anymore. Okay, we require devices that can give us healthy living. See, you and me spend thousands of rupees on medical insurance, health insurance, life insurance, right? But we don't pay that much of attention to smart devices which are available, which can actually help the entire family to, you know, live a healthy life. You have water purifiers at home, then why not air purifier? Because the air is really bad outside. And there is data to prove. I mean, it's just not that we are saying. You check the AQI indicators, you check everywhere. Even if you go out, I'll tell you, I visited a couple of doctors, okay? Because I was having some bad throat. And when I went to the doctor, my family doctor, he said, Karan, this is not coughing. This is allergy that you have developed because of the firecrackers pollution. Now this is pollution. Now it has actually hit me that because of the pollution and the smoke, I have developed allergies. And he said that current people are not stopping. They are continuously coming into the clinics because they have developed this problem. How many people understand that? So I think awareness is a big challenge. A lot of brands are doing it. We at Molecule are also trying to do it. But it takes a lot of time in India, you know, to build that awareness and when people adopting new technologies.
That's what I was thinking, because the price range is also a bit high compared to the Indian market. Like so Pico Technologies, obviously that is the one thing you guys have your USP in. But like, first of all, selling air purifiers, which Indians actually need, I won't disagree on that, which Indians already need, but you know, making them agree, setting this market in, like, it's going to be very difficult. Like, what is your strategy? Because I saw you guys collaborated one of the clubs, the Quorum. So I think it's much easier for you guys to work in B2B, like, you know, collaborations with hotels and like clubs and stuff. So it's easier for B2B, but like for the retail consumers, like normal consumers, is it going to be like, how are you going to set this thing up? I can see a Air Mini in your room.
This is an Air Mini. Yeah, so I use it because I have a baby at home, so I'm very finicky about what I provide him in terms of food, air and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's a great question. The problem is that, you know, I mean, I'll give you some data, okay? Out of the 30 most polluted cities in the world, 21 are from India. Can you believe that? 21 are from India. So we live in a very bad environment in terms of air quality, okay? Our products are very superior to comparatively what are there in, you know, the market, which are like $100, $150 range, which is like 10 to 15,000 rupees. But then you should understand that, it's like having the best, which actually can give you results. Now, all the other air purifiers, they actually capture all the viruses and bacteria and pollutants. We kill them. Okay. Now, probably what happens is you have two kind of devices. One is the air purifier, other is a COVID killing so-called device, right? But we are probably a two-in-one device. It actually kills COVID also. And aesthetically, it looks really beautiful. If you can see, you can actually put it on the dining table. You can actually put it anywhere at the home. Aesthetically, it is really good. As you mentioned, Quorum, they basically wanted to provide the best to their members. That is why they opted for Molecule, because first, it gives you clean air. Okay, so a person who walks into a Quorum club doesn't have to worry about the transmission of COVID or bad air in their club premises. The other is aesthetically, it looks really cool. So placing an air purifier at the front end where people can actually view it, you can actually do that. So this is a very different device. We have a different mindset altogether. And that is why we are approaching Indians that, hey, this actually will improve your quality of life. So, pay
that's
attention.
what I'm saying. Like, it's easier for, am I right? Like, is it easier for you guys to set in B2B relationships and, just work in that sector? But like, how are you going to set this up in the normal retail consumer, someone like me, like who can, who will think of buying a OnePlus or an iPhone, but who will, think thrice
Not
or
even think about spending.
For an air purifier of 40,000 or like.
Amazon is one of the leaders in this space. Okay, so we are available on Amazon since a long time. So people can actually buy it on Amazon, and it gets delivered in a couple of days. We are also trying to expand it. Very interestingly, we are also trying to see that because it's an US FDA product, which is approved by US FDA, it is actually a medical device. Because in the COVID second wave, we donated about 3,000 plus air purifiers across all the private and public hospitals and COVID care centers to help people, breathe good air. And secondly, it also stops COVID transmission. I'll just enlighten you that, a lot of chest physicians in India, they recommend people that if you have breathing issues, if you have lungs issues, you should actually have an air purifier at home, because the germs, viruses are not good for your health. And it, exaggerates your breathing problem. So that is why, and now people, like for an example, if someone recommends an air purifier to you, what will you do? You will not even realize that should I buy 5,000 product or should I buy a 50,000 product? Because what is the utility to me? That is why the messaging is that, hey, our purifiers are very different than the rest all available in the market. It actually helps you because it kills COVID, it kills all the pollutants, viruses, bacteria. So that is what we are trying to do. We are expanding our base in India. Okay, so Amazon gives us reach across India. You don't have to worry about having 10 or 15 retailers, and then that benchmark or that consumer base is very limited to that particular geography. But if you buy on Amazon, you can buy in Shillong, you can buy in Kanyakumari, you can buy in Srinagar. So you don't have to worry about that. So e-commerce, the way it is developed post-COVID, and people are comfortable buying on e-commerce platforms because they have done it in the COVID. Because whatever you wanted to buy, clothes, electronics, food, grocery, you have already bought it on Amazon or Flipkart. I mean, all the e-commerce portals. So that gives you that liberty, and people are comfortable, and there is a trust factor. That is why we are available there, and people can actually go and buy there.
So, like, what is your approximately guess that people would start, buying air purifiers? Where how people buy, maybe like, it's necessary. Air conditioner is a necessary for your home, or maybe micro oven is necessary at your home. So, how much time is there left at that stage? Like, where people would when they're working, when they're buying a new house, they'll also look at the air purifiers. Like, how far are we?
Pollution, viruses, pandemics are knocking on your door. Okay, we have already experienced in the last couple of years. Just wait for a couple of years. I think it will become a necessity. So like if you buy a new house, you buy air condition, you buy water purifier, because apart from, you can't live without your water purifier. You want good water, right? Either you will buy the cans, either you will buy a water purifier. Now air purification also will become necessity, because most of the families in India have elders at home, or you have younger children, right? Our population is really young. And then if you develop problems related to breathing, lungs or respiratory, I think it's not good. So people will actually try and buy air purifiers to protect themselves, at least indoor. So you can't control your air outside. When you move out, you can't control that. But what you can control is your indoor air. And then I think people will take cognizance of that fact and it will become a necessity. So maybe later down the line, let's say 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you will see air purifiers installed in every room at home. So that's how far we are actually going.
Okay.
I'll tell you, in developed world, in US and all, they have already adopted this lifestyle because there are multiple problems there. Apart from pollution, viruses, bacteria, they have wildfires, they have smoke problem, then they have allergens, they have pollens. They realize it. We don't realize it. For us, if you sneeze, arey weather change hai. I mean, you don't realize the reason. Is arey weather change hai. It's normal hai. So it's not that. You don't realize what is the root cause of that. And we are afraid of going to the doctors, right? We say, arey, kya dawai to dene wala hai, antibiotic denge. It's not true. They are actually treating you. So you should listen to the doctor.
So my next question to you is, Karan, so what's your daily lifestyle? Because when you're working in a corporate, people think like it's a 9 to 5 thing. You just need to sit on a chair. So what are the things that, like, working for Molecule is just one part of your life? What is Karan's lifestyle?
See, I like to play cricket. Okay. In pandemic, we didn't get time to go outdoors, but I love playing cricket. I've represented under 19. I've represented my colleges in my Narsimonji times, in my graduation. So I've played at under 19 district level for Baroda also. So I love playing cricket. I am an outdoor person. I love football. I love badminton. Whenever I get time, little bit, I try and play that sport with my building friends, with people I know, friends and family. Apart from that, I think my son keeps me busy. He is just 2-year-old. So I'm actually doing this interview because my son is at his nani's house in Ranchi. So otherwise, they were continuously knocking on the door that, Papa just opened the door, Papa just opened the door. So my life revolves around my work, my family, my son, and a little bit outdoors. And I love traveling. I mean, because of work and my personal thing, I visited more than 105 cities in India. And you name the city, I have been there. I mean, I can actually vouch it. And that's the beauty. When I say groundwork, that, people think that, okay, I will be in the office, I want an office job, comfy, cushion, and I will tell people to go here, there and work for me. It's not. You have to get on the ground. The people who talk to you in South is totally different when you talk to them in North. The conversations are very different. I'll give you an example. When you go to North of India, people will welcome you, they will chit chat with you. The actual conversation about work will start after 45 minutes to 1 hour. Till that time, you'll do chit chat about politics, life, here and there, that's it. If you go to South of India, the point to point conversation will happen about work, that's it. So even if you want to sit there is nothing to talk to them because they've already spoken about work.
And they speak in very few words, like, okay, okay, theek hai.
That's it. The hospitality level is very different. So you have to be on the ground to experience that. And it's fun. I'm telling you, it's fun. Traveling across the lengths and breadths of this country, I will say it is a mini Europe. Okay. Like, it is not a one country. Every state is a different country. People say in the West that, India is one country. I say no. It is like a Europe in itself. So you have to experience it. And that is why the strategies what people adopt are very different in North of India, in South of India, in West of India. So you have to be hyper local.
So, there's this one notion which I feel that it's completely wrong, and I think so this has been instilled in people's mind through influencers. A lot of people say that, I want to do something creative, and they feel like the corporate job does not involve any creativity, or there's just routine work, right? And you will notice a lot of creative artists, people say this, that being an artist myself, I have also said this, that I want to do something creative in life and not a job. So there's this line that differentiate, okay, job mein kuch creative nahi hai, corporate life has no creative. So as a country head and as also national sales of GoPro or wherever you have worked, do you think creativity also is there, and what's that creative process there in your area, in your field of work?
See, totally. I mean, creativity is not just in art form, okay, or in media. I mean, we have to be creative all the time, because what happens is there are certain strategies or there are certain work profiles that you think that, okay, we should do this, but then if it doesn't work, you have to creatively think that, okay, what different can we do? Like for an example, at GoPro, the problem that we encountered, people said, "Oh, we don't do bungee jumping in India. We don't do skiing in India. Don't go underwaters. Why should I buy a GoPro?" So we had to be creative to tell people that, hey, this is not an action camera. It's a lifestyle camera, right? It's an everyday camera. Now, the strategies that we adopted is, let's say you are a father, okay? Now you cannot give a DSLR to your son, because if it falls, your 30, 40, 50,000 rupees is gone. But if he throws a GoPro into water or on the ground, nothing happens, right? So it's rugged, it's waterproof, and you can document your everyday story. You can't carry a DSLR everywhere. GoPro is just a pocket camera, right? You can just mount it everywhere. It can actually give you your life's perspective. How you see that, let's say you're driving a bike, you can actually mount it on a helmet or on a chest, and people can actually see what you are seeing, right? So you have, that story needs to be told to Indians, needs to be told to consumers, and we tried to do it with the help of influencers. The strategies that we adopted was also different. I mean, people.
A lot of my friends are GoPro influencers.
Yeah, absolutely. So people wanted to see that, hey, I want to buy a GoPro, but then where should I buy it? Should I buy it from US? Should I buy it from Dubai? And then we gave them the options that, okay, you can buy, if you are comfortable, buy it on e-commerce. If you are comfortable, buying in offline retail. I mean, the story needs to be told. People need education. I mean, that's the word that I use. People need education. People are ready to buy. Okay, they don't understand that there is a problem. And if they understand there is a problem, there is a solution. Then they will go for it. The only thing is, how do you educate 1.3 billion people, which is very, very difficult, right? So this is, all the brands are doing this in their own way. Certain brands give you that creative freedom that, okay, do whatever you want, because you are the person in the market. You understand your country well. You understand your friends well. Then you will be able to guide us that, okay, we should do this. Maybe in US you are doing this X thing which is not working in India. Okay, let's try something new. Maybe that works. So that creative freedom also is there in job.
Yeah, that's the. I was shocked. Yeah, because being this podcast, I started with I interview a lot of creative people, right? Maybe a stone balancer or a domino artist or a music producer or a rap artist, and at the same time, I just approach corporate people also. So the people who have achieved that thing, like I have interviewed India's best graffiti artists, right? And I have interviewed world's best domino artists. So they have never said this about 9 to 5 job, but people who follow them, they're like, we also want to become artists and we don't want to do a regular job, but I want to do something creative. And I was like, okay, there's some catch here, because I have seen people like making strategies are also creative thing. Like, it's a creative process.
There are a lot of companies which give you freedom. Now you have to come up with solutions. So I'll give you an example that at GoPro and at Molecule, we are like entrepreneurs. So it's not that we are working for that company in a particular role. We have got the entire freedom. How you want to develop your country or that market is up to you. The success depends on you. The failure also depends on you, right? So then the added responsibility is there that, okay, what should I do? So you should have that kind of knowledge or that kind of experience and that kind of vision also, that, okay, I know this works in India. Okay, now how do you convey this message and convince people that, okay, this will work, back me up and let me try it. If you fail, it's fine. People are afraid of failure. Okay, now that is the biggest problem that sets them back. Okay, I can't do it because I might fail. That's fine. People fail, and if you don't fail yourself, if you don't fail in life, you will not grow. You will not realize what is wrong. I always tell my younger brother also that it's okay if you fail. It's fine. I was never a 90%er in my entire life. My highest percentage was, I think, about 83-85%. That's it. I recommend the same approach to my son also, that you should be successful in life, but you should be happy. Even if you bring 60-70%, it's fine. But then you should enjoy life. You should work towards the good. And then everything will follow. Problem is that people are afraid of failures. Look at the engineering students. If they fail in IIT, or maybe MBA students, they fail in IIM, they think, oh, the world has ended. I have not attended IIM, but I am very happy at NMIMS. It is one of the best institutes. And even if you do another college, it's fine. You treat them as your IIMs. Then you will succeed.
Damn, like that. That's a very good mindset, and have become like, that's a great achievement. Being a country head with not up there 90% marks, like things are changing. There's a notion like you need this certain percentages.
Education will give you avenues, it doesn't guarantee you success. If you bring 95%, it doesn't guarantee you that you will succeed in life. Even if you bring 60%, it's fine. You have to work really hard. You should have that vision and you should work towards the good. Okay, you should know what you want for yourself. So that's what I mean. There's a very good quote that education guarantees you opportunities, it doesn't guarantee you success. Right? So that's what I believe in.
Yep. So, okay, let's come to this part. I will be asking you 2-3 Karan Johar type questions. So you need to answer them honestly. Okay.
Okay.
What is the most shittiest thing ever happened to you in your complete work journey?
I would not say shittiest, but I'll say challenging. That when I joined GoPro and suddenly there was a big launch which was going to happen and it was all on my shoulders that you have to do this. And what their expectation was beyond my imagination. I was baffled. And I will tell you very honestly, publicly I'm saying this for the first time, that in the first 3 months I probably had that feeling of quitting GoPro. Because that expectation was so huge and they wanted me to succeed. I mean, obviously they backed me up, but then I was like, hey, I mean, this is too big for India. Nobody has done it. But then they supported me and we did it.
What was it?
There was a deal that they wanted. We had a new camera launch and we were working with an exclusive agreement with one of the companies in India, and it was a huge bet on India. Thankfully it worked, but then obviously I felt that was the most challenging part in my life, that hey, I am here, it has not been 10 days and you want me to do this, which is like scary. But then I had very good colleagues, I had very good bosses, and I was really happy. And at Molecule also, the challenge, but I'll tell you, in work, every day there is a new challenge. So sometimes you forget about those challenges, it becomes a routine of your life.
Damn, there's no peace. But like this notion, GoPro join kiya, and then the third day you're coming to know, okay, aisa deal hai. Okay.
Aisa deal, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know.
Okay. So again, what is the most shittiest thing or the most embarrassing thing you have done ever in your journey, like in your career?
Embarrassing thing in my life? I have done one. So when I joined GoPro, I went to HQ, okay, and it was my onboarding process. And I am a great fan of Nick Woodman, who is the founder of GoPro. I was in US with one of my colleague who came from Australia to help me onboard. And my boss from Australia, because I was reporting to the APEC director, called me and said, Karan, Nick wants to meet you. I was like, are you serious? Why does Nick want to meet me? So he said, no, he is really interested in India and he wants to meet you. I said, okay. And he said, he's just going to give you 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. Okay. Just say hi and just greet him and then, just tell him your vision about India. That's about it. He doesn't have time. I said, okay, not a problem. So my colleague told me that, Karan, please do not take pictures, because he doesn't like to take pictures on mobile phones and we don't have a GoPro right now. Okay, so please do not take pictures. I was like, okay, not a problem. Nick came in. We sat for 15 minutes. Okay, we discussed about India. At the end, I said, Nick, I'm a big fan. He said, come on, let's take a picture. And I was like, okay. I had an iPhone. I gave it to my colleague and I said, just click a picture. He said, Karan, no iPhones. I said, just click. So I said, Nick, that's fine? He said, yeah, that's fine. Just give it to my PA also. She clicked all the pictures and I was like, wow. And then when he left, my colleague Paul told me, Karan, this is not good. I said, leave it. I've got the picture. This is my life memory. So yeah, that was an embarrassing point, but I think Nick was pretty supportive. And that's a fan moment. You don't want to miss that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you have no idea what he would have said this to PA, like isko agli baar se milana mat or something.
That's okay. I got my memory.
Damn, obviously, man, it's a pretty huge thing. The next third thing, okay. What is the most embarrassing thing someone has ever done in front of you?
Well, nothing as far as I remember. But yeah, there are people who do not pronounce the brand name correctly. Okay, so when they are giving presentation, I've seen people take competitor's name instead of their brand name, and it becomes a public embarrassment on a public platform. I've seen that a lot of times, and it's really bad.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Ouch. Oof. Okay, so last two questions. First, what is the future of this industry? Like Molecule, obviously it has this one patent technology which gives them the edge. I was just seeing that big controversy of the wire cutter thing where, like Molecule is very good with their content. Like they come up and they talk about everything like in detail. You guys, I didn't have anything controversial against them except for that wire cutter video where they were claiming that, it's the Molecule air purifier is not good, but they didn't had any proofs. So you guys are very vocal, but like, what about the future of this industry? Where do you think now this will go now from now? Like you have set this base here, now what? Like,
See, I'll tell you, as I mentioned, the pollution is knocking at our doors. Okay, now it's the time that we realize that this is a problem. There are health hazards, and there are situations when local governments are trying to impose a complete lockdown because of pollution. Now, can you believe that apart from COVID, there are these situations in Delhi? I heard that they might impose a lockdown because of pollution.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it is going to be imperative for people to realize this. The sooner the better. It is going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry in India, and GoPro, probably Molecule, is going to
Talking
do the
about
same
the
thing. This is my
brand name.
This is my embarrassing moment. So Molecule is going to be a pioneer in that because the technology is pretty different, and also as a layman, if you want to understand, the HEPA filters are there. It is like an Android Play Store. All the brands who wanted to enter air purification enter through HEPA filters. Molecules Peco is like an Apple Store.
HEPA filter is basically it's just that catching it in the filter itself. It's just catching the dirt in the filter. That's it. Yep.
And Molecules is patented. Obviously, it is only owned by Molecule. So I think Molecule play a very vital role, not only in India, but globally also. They are doing really well. We are doing really well in US. We are doing really well in Japan, Korea, and we are about to enter new markets, which we think will have a lot of potential. But apart from the business side, Akash, I think the most important thing is our founders have this vision that we want to provide clean air to people. Now, if you have researched, would you know that Yogi Goswami founded this product because his son Dilip had severe problems about breathing, allergies, and all that stuff. So he developed this product for him, and when it helped him, he actually made it a consumer product. So he developed a company around it. Otherwise, that technology was only developed for his son. So genuinely, it solves problem, and there are datas to fact it up. I mean, whatever people say on various platforms, our researchers and scientists, we have a lot of researchers and scientists working for us, and all our research and everything is there on the public platform to see. So people realize it, and it is up to them what to decide which technology is better for them and which they should opt.
One thing I want to ask is, when the person is starting his corporate career at the age of 22 after graduation, maybe I know what I want to do in life, maybe I don't know what I want to do in life. I'm just doing it as an experience, maybe starting through internships or maybe starting to at a job at a basic level, What are the pointers around which I should plan my career life? Like, what are the things I should keep in mind ki ye cheez to honi chahiye, ya what is the answer of this thing? What is the answer of this thing when I'm starting now?
So I see there are no set answers for anything in life. Okay, let's say for an example, I'll give you an example. I wanted to build my career around brand management, sales, marketing. So I knew what I have to do. So when I started, I was looking for opportunities that will give me prospect to sales or a national sales or a global sales kind of a thing, right? So you start from there. Like somebody who wants to enter an FMCG, don't think that they will give you a vice president profile immediately. You have to start at the ground level. Okay, when I joined Rashi Peripherals, I'll tell you, embarrassing point that you mentioned, right? When I joined Rashi Peripherals, the first task which was given to me by I was directly reporting to the vice president. The task they gave me, they were publishing this small book. Okay, in those times, you had this printed books wherein all the products of the company were there, and they were being mailed to across 15,000 retailers across India. They gave me a database because I am from Baroda. They told me that okay, you are comfortable traveling to Gujarat. Go to Gujarat, have this 15, 20, 30 addresses, go to them and check if they are receiving this booklet. Now, my situation, I am pass out of NMIMS with my head high that okay, this is I can't even think about doing this job, and now my boss is telling me to go to Gujarat and just ask people that are you receiving this booklet, is there a feedback that you want to give, should we change anything? And I was really embarrassed. I was shit embarrassed, okay, but I went there. I traveled. So if from one retailer to other retailer, sometimes I used to walk, sometimes I used to take an auto. Those times there were no Uber, Ola. Okay, the company didn't provide me any car. They said do the groundwork. So it was a learning curve for me. When I was doing my groundwork, it was a learning curve for me. I gained a lot of knowledge from that, because when I went to the shops, I not only asked them these questions, but I've seen what is selling, what is not selling. And after a couple of months, they gave me a brand to manage. And because I traveled, I got to know how these retailers function, right? So people should think that, you know, if a boss or if a company gives them even a low level job just to start off with, they want to test you, okay? So do it with the utmost, patience, utmost hard work, and then I think it will reap benefits. So the basic thing is, look at the profile that you are looking at. I always say that money is secondary. Even, I mean, certain families or certain people might think that, you know, because of the monetary issues, salary is very important, definitely. But for me, it was not. I thought that maybe, you know, let me do the work properly, money will follow. I always tell this to my friends and family, whoever asks me, choose a right profile for you, because sometimes what happens, you get a very good paycheck, but the work is at the back end, or maybe it's not up to your mark, but you still end up taking that because the money is good. So you think, oh, the life is set. I mean, I don't have to worry about that. It's not the right approach. So work first, money will follow.
Yeah, man, it's quite difficult to actually make a correct profile for yourself. It takes time to understand what you want to do in life.
There is no correct profile. People at 50 also, they don't know what to do. I mean, what is right for them. So yeah, it's always you always, what do you say, ask questions to yourself. Is it right? Am I doing the right thing? No, I mean, that's fine.
Damn. Okay, so this is the last question, and if you don't find it comfortable, it's fine. You can't. You don't need to answer this. But this is one question we ask to every artist, sports person, entrepreneur, international, national, actors, whoever have come on a podcast. As an individual, how do you earn and how are you managing your wealth? It's not the exact figures you need to tell us, but this is the paycheck. I invest here. Do you invest or not? Like, obviously, money is not important than your work, but then it's something you need to keep it back of your mind with your work.
It's a very basic thing, and I'll tell you, a lot of people don't even understand how to manage your wealth. I mean, I have few friends, they are the vice presidents of the company, they don't even understand the basic financing things. So I think as an individual, you should understand that what is, the ratio of savings and what is the ratio of what is your expense basically. For an example, I invest in PPF. Okay, that's a very basic thing that you have to do. Whatever the limit is, you should invest in PPF. Provident fund is very important, because if your employer doesn't do it, then it's a problem. But I think PF is very, very important. You can invest in NSC. A lot of people in India still don't understand taking health insurance. It is imperative, okay? Because unless you go to hospital, you won't realize what kind of bills they throw at you.
Trust me. This year I've done that health
now
insurance.
People have realized post-COVID. Now people have realized that what happens. So I think that is very important. I have taken it for my entire family. Life insurance. Now, life insurance is not only about having an investment and then getting the return back, but you should also opt for term insurance, because if something happens to you, who is going to take care of your family, right? So term insurance is very important. I also invest in mutual funds and shares, but I do it on my own. I don't have a wealth manager or any funding, because I believe that whatever knowledge I have, a little bit, I try and put to use, and I just manage it. So basic things. I try to invest a little bit in terms of property or in terms of, gold or somewhere a little bit, but yeah, that's fine. I do not invest in cryptocurrencies. I don't believe in that. Because I believe my personal thing is that you should invest something which the government supports, because sometimes if something happens,
Yeah,
and
it's
if
still not
you
regulated.
put your all eggs into one basket, and if you're gone, then you're gone. So you should be sensible enough to opt for investments.
Yes, but matlab, the main question is you are managing your wealth. You are looking at it into that, because like there are times when people start looking at the investment at a very late, like at a very late stage, and in their 40s or something. But the people around me in my age, they are actually quite fast. Like they are learning about what's investment. People at 19, 20 are starting investing into stocks. So
Akash,
they're
I'll
quite-
share my personal experience. So my father passed away in 2008. Okay, when I was doing my first year MBA, and we belong to a business family. So then we moved to Bombay, and the first thing that I bought, okay, post my salary, was a life insurance. Because I realized that if you do not have a life insurance, and if the earning member of the family leaves, then what is the stress on the family, right? So that was 2009 that I am talking about. Now people are more aware. I think there is a lot of awareness which is there. But that time my family was against this policy, that okay, why should you invest something that you will not be able to enjoy? If you die, then only they'll get the money. But then if you don't die, then this money is wasted. But I look it from the security perspective. People like you who are aware, educated, they know this. So I think times have changed for good, and people should invest. A lot of things are now available on apps, websites, and banks are all digital. Previously, you used to go to the bank to do all this stuff, which was not very comfortable. That's why people ignored it. But now, because it is accessible, it is more affordable, people actually opt for that. So I think one should take cognizance of investment in the right perspective. I think it's very, very important for the family.
Yep. Okay, dokie, man. That's it. That was the conversation, and I hope like your next at 34, you're a country head. Now there's something more cooking in your brain, and now I think so. It's time to go international as well. I think so. There's a long journey, and I'm pretty sure there would be something going in back in your mind. So good luck for that, and thank you so much for doing this, Karan.
Absolutely. And all the best, Akash. I think it was a wonderful chatting with you, and all the best to your audience also. You are doing a very good job, and I think a lot of people will actually follow you and watch your videos.